Okay, so let's recap what we have studied. What is polymorphism? Many forms. Okay, so there are two types of polymorphism: compile time and runtime. Compile time is your overloading. Okay, and runtime is your overriding. What is the criteria for overriding? What is the criteria for overriding? Tell me. Same method name. Method name should be same. Signature must. Parameter must not change. Okay, it should be same. Then tell me what was the other criteria. What about the access modifier criteria? Overridden method cannot be more restrictive. Okay, it should be less restrictive. And what about the exception? Exception criteria. It should not throw superclass. Superclass cannot throw subclass. Subclass cannot throw superclass. Okay, or new it cannot throw. So that's what we have seen. I think we have seen till this only, right? We will look into this overloading. Okay, so for overloading, like very simple. For overloading, very simple scenario. What is the scenario? Very simple scenario. Okay, so okay, only one rule. What is the rule? Argument must change. That's all. What is overloading? Argument must change. That's all. This is the only criteria for overloading. Overriding, we are having many things. You cannot make it private. Okay, protected. You cannot throw superclass exception from subclass. All those things you are having. Okay, but for overloading, very one small criteria. What is that? Argument must change. That's all. All others are can. Can means you can do or cannot do. It is up to you. But only argument must change. That's all. Argument must change. Okay. So that's why I mentioned about the C. Overloaded method must change the argument list. Can change the return type. You can change. You cannot change. It is up to you. Okay. Then here access modifier. So you can is not mandatory, but only this one is mandatory. Okay. So now I will give you a very simple example. Tell me what should be the output of this particular code. Okay. So I'll type public class class. Okay. I should give one of the class animal. Okay. I will give. What is the method name? Barking is the method name. Okay. And public void barking. Okay. SOP system out function void. Okay. And make it int. Return 12. No, because I am passing parameter, right? So sorry, return type. So I must return something. So what I am returning? 12 is the value which I am returning. Okay, and I'll go here and I'll write on this class to public class main class. Okay, I'll write public static void main. Okay, and write this public static void main. Okay, we will write animal equal to new animal equal to new animal. Okay, so animal dot barking. Animal dot barking. Okay, so tell me what should be the output. Void or int? Check properly. Okay. What? Tell me what should be the output? Huh? Int or what? No, that's what. Tell me what should be the output? What is the output we'll get? Huh? What happened? Okay, so I had already told you, whenever you will run the code, first you should compile it, then you run it. Okay, so what? Error for what? Static where? Static we don't have, no? No problem, no? Static है कोई problem नहीं. Object means there is no problem. Okay, so try to understand what we are trying to do. We are trying to do overloading, because overloading happens inside. Overriding cannot happen inside one class. For overriding you must have two class, animal, dog. So animal behavior you will change it in your dog. So you cannot do override in one class. Okay, if you are doing overriding, you must have to do in two classes, superclass, subclass. Okay, yeah. Now what is only left? What is the only thing left? Overloading. Okay, so now what is the mechanism both two are doing? They are doing overloading. And for overloading, what is the mandatory criteria? Argument must change. Okay, but here am I changing argument? No, it will not compile. That's all, as simple as that. Got it, right? So what we are doing? We are doing overloading. Now overloading argument must change. If I'll do like this, int I, then it will compile. Got it, right? So that's what I told. Overloading, only one criteria, your argument must change anyhow, then only overloading will happen. Okay, for overriding there is the other things which we have already seen. Okay, so okay, now let's see here. We'll try to write the same thing and then I'll show you how. So let's go to dog, the one which you are discussing. I'll try to write it. Okay, something like public void button. Okay, so void. Okay, now what is another one we are writing? We are writing the same thing. Okay, I'm using int return 10. I'll see. Is it compiling? Not compiling. What is not compiling? Because for overloading one criteria, your argument must change. So if you change the argument here anywhere, I mean if I change here int test, see, now there is no problem. Got it, right? So what should be the answer for this particular question? Compilation error. Okay, so you will get the compilation error. Okay, so what is the error we will get? Let's try to look into this. What is the error we are getting? See, duplicate method barking of type. So it is trying to behave like same, because return type will not matter. What will matter? The argument which you are passing over there. Okay, so always be very careful. Now what should be the output? If I write like this, then what should be the output to me? Void, right? Why? Because I am not passing any parameter. So what should be the output? Void should be the output. What? I didn't get it. Huh? Oh. Okay. Okay. So yeah. Now what should be the output? Now you got to know, right? Now what should be the output? Okay. So what should be the output? Void will be the output. Okay. But if I pass some parameter, maybe something like 34, then what should be the output? Int will be the output, because this will decide which one to call, this one or this one, based on the parameter list only. Okay. So that's why overloading is, what is that called? This is called compile time. Why? Because it will decide during compile time only. I mean, which one it will call. It will call this one or this one. Okay, it is not runtime stuff basically, and that's why overloading is what is this? This is also called compile time polymorphism. Okay, yeah. So let's move ahead from here. We have discussed this. Okay, so now this is very typical question you will get. Okay, so what is the difference between overloading and overriding? Okay, note it down. What is the difference between overloading and overriding? Okay, tell me what is the difference in overriding and overriding? First difference is overriding happens between two classes usually, yeah, and overloading happens inside one class. So that's what. Just note it down. Overloading can happen between two classes also, but for time being, don't worry about that. We'll discuss later on time. But overriding will definitely happen between two classes. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So this is the difference. Okay. So what is the first one? Argument must change in our overloading. Overriding must not change. Okay. You cannot change the argument list. So second difference is overloading must change the argument list. Overriding must not change the argument list. Okay. Now overloading return type, what will happen? Overloading can change. It is not mandatory, right? So it is not mandatory to change. Okay. But overriding. Let's try to look into this. Okay. Okay, so overriding return type. Okay, so overriding return type, what will happen? Try to see. Okay, you can return covariant. What is covariant? If animal, then you can return dog. Okay, only covariant you can return. You cannot return any other stuff basically. Okay, so what I'm going to say is try to understand. If I'm having I'll go to animal. Okay, and we'll try to put the same thing. Okay, so okay, suppose my original method is returning animal. What is returning? Animal. So what I have to do? I have to return animal also from here. Return new animal. Got it, right? So what your original method is returning? Animal. Now if you want, so if you are doing overriding, what will happen? You have to do write like this. Okay, you can, if you want to understand whether overriding or what to do, you can add that of override. Okay, this one don't worry about that. Okay, dog extends animal. Now it is correct. So that's why it is good practice. You should use this annotation. Now we were fooling, right? We were getting fooled that we. So if I'll do like this, we are being fooled. We are thinking this is method is overriding, but it is not overriding. Why? Because you are not extending anything. Okay. So now if you want to check what is it is best practice, you just use override like this. Now we came to this is not override. Now you will know what is the problem. So what is the problem? We did not extend it basically. Okay, so it is best practice always to use the annotation, then you will be in right track. Yeah, now try to understand this one. this one is overriding. What is returning? Animal. Okay, can your overridden method return void? Let's try to do this. I am returning void. Okay, and I will do like this. So is it working? It's not working. Okay, suppose I will return some other class. Okay, so some other class, maybe I'll create one of the class called human. What is the class name? Human. Human has got nothing to do with your animal. So we'll go here and try to create human. Okay, and here also what I will do return new human. See, is it working? It's not working. Got it, right? So why? Because in your overriding, what will happen? Your return type must be same or covariant. It cannot be any other thing. Okay. So what is the covariant of animal? Dog. Okay. So let's try to do this dog. Whether we'll check it whether it will work or not. Okay. So see here, is it working or not? See, it's working. Got it, right? So for overriding, what is the criteria for return type? It must be same or covariant. You cannot return any other stuff basically. But overloading, no criteria. You can change, you can return, you cannot return, it will not matter to you basically. Got it, right? So let's try to note down the third difference. What is the third difference? What is the third difference? Okay, return type. Okay. So overriding return type must be the same. Overriding return type must be the same or covariant. Overriding return type must be the same or covariant. And overriding, overloading, no criteria, not at all. No? So there is no criteria for return type in overloading. You can change, you cannot change. If animal you are returning, you return human being. Void you can make it. It will not matter to the overloading. Okay, yeah. Now let's try to go to the fourth one. What is the fourth one? What is the fourth one? See, exception. So overriding, what was the criteria? Tell me. Superclass, subclass cannot throw superclass or new exception. But in overloading, no criteria. So note it down. Overridden method must throw subclass exception. Okay, so overridden method cannot throw new or broader exception. Both are same. Overridden method cannot throw new or broader exception. Broader means superclass exception. Okay. In overloading, no criteria. You can change exception, you cannot change exception, you can throw exception, don't throw, it will not matter to overloading. Access modifier. What is the access modifier criteria which we are having? It cannot be more restrictive. Okay, so note it down. Overridden method cannot have more restrictive access modifier. This is fifth one, it seems, fifth or sixth, fifth. So overridden method cannot have more restrictive access modifier. Overridden method cannot have more restrictive access modifier. Okay, and what about overloading? No criteria. No criteria of access modifier. You can change. You don't change. No problem. Okay, so overloading is very simple. Only one criteria. What is the criteria? Your parameter must change. Parameter or argument list must change. That's all. Okay. Yeah, so we know there is no multiple inheritance in Java. Okay, but observe very closely. If I write something like class public class animal, okay, and public class vehicle, public class animal, public class vehicle. I am getting the class to public class test class extends. Tell me what should the output for this particular code. Will it compile or not? Will it compile or not compile? It will not compile. Why? Java does not support multiple inheritance. Okay, so one class cannot extend two classes. So Java does not support multiple inheritance. Okay, but if I'll have interface, not only will it compile, yes, it will compile. Okay, so it should not be the case like I told you extend is there. If I am doing something, then you will think this will not compile. Okay, so but that is not the case. If it is interface, it will compile and run also. Got it, right? So that's what is the point. What is the one? There is no multiple inheritance in Java. So if you are having both side class, then it is inheritance. But if you will have interface in both the sides, then it will compile. So there is no problem at all. So it will compile and it will give you the output also as it is, whatever your expectation is. Okay. So this will finish this object orientation. Okay. So these are the different type of questions which you can prepare from this particular chapter. So what is the first one? Why no multiple inheritance in Java? Tell me. Why no multiple inheritance in Java? Because Java, they wanted to make it simple. Okay, they don't wanted to mess up. And what is the second problem? Deadly diamond of death problem. Okay, so what is deadly diamond of death problem? If you are having multi-level inheritance, okay, so now if some properties are there in both the classes, then which one to take? Okay, so that's why. Why Java is called object-oriented programming language? Because communication in Java happens between objects using methods. Okay, and it follows some of those object orientation rules. What are the rules? Class, object, inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, okay, encapsulation. So all the rules are followed by Java. So only we call this as a object-oriented programming language. What is encapsulation? Yeah, so doing changes in your code without breaking the rule of others is called encapsulation. Putting boundary over your variable. Okay, how to achieve encapsulation? Make your variable private and have some getters and setters. Okay. What is EJ? What is HJ? EJ is related to inheritance or implements. HJ is related to uses. Okay, so it is related to instance variable. And yeah, instance variable. Okay, yeah. Now, which is preferred, EJ or HJ? HJ. HJ is preferred over EJ. Why? Because of the memory thing which we have already seen. So memory management. What is polymorphism? Polymorphism means many forms. Okay, so one thing can be used for many purposes. Okay, so those are called many forms. And what are the kinds of polymorphism? runtime and compile time. Compile time overloading, runtime overriding. Difference between overloading and overriding now we have seen, right? So what is the thing we have seen? Tell me. Overloading argument must change, overriding must not change. Overloading, tell me. Return type can be anything in overriding. Overriding, what will happen? Return type must be covariant. Okay, same or covariant. Overloading, access modifier, no criteria for overloading. For overriding, what will happen? It cannot be more restrictive. Okay, it should be broader enough. Yeah, exception, what will happen? Overloading can throw any exception, no problem at all. Overriding, what will happen? Must not throw superclass exception or new exception in your subclass. Okay. Yeah, any other thing which you have seen? I think we have done, right? All the points you have discussed. How many ways to create object in Java? Any idea? Have you done this? There are 5 ways. Okay, so we have done this or not? Okay, so what are those ways? Tell me. New operator. Then have you noted it down somewhere? Can click on. So okay. So there are five ways to create this. This also this question is also very popular in interview. That's why I told. Okay. So what is the first one? New keyword. Okay. New keyword we use. New keyword. Okay. So something like animal equal to new animal. So this is nothing but new keyword. This is one of the way to create object in Java. Any other way? For name. Okay, so this is called reflection mechanism. What is the one? Reflection. Reflection is very advanced basically. So those are very low level details of your things. Okay. In reflection, how will you create the Java? Create an object. Something like animal equal to. Okay. So you will have some class dot for name will be the method name. Okay. For name will be the method name, and you have to pass some sort of parameter over there. There's some sort of thing they'll ask to pass. Okay, so this is one of the way to create object in Java. Okay, so there are 5 ways they will tell. This is your second way. What is the mechanism? Because this is called reflection. Okay, so we do class them for some sort of casting also they class. So but for name will typically give you what is the third way? Which one? Clone. Okay, so clone. This is your third way to create an object. Okay, so each and every object will have one of the method called clone. So if you see here, where we are creating object, where are we creating? See animal dot somewhere over there. Okay, so this is the way how you clone a object basically. Okay, so how will you clone? You have to go to your class. You can use implements. Clonable is one of those interface. What is the interface name? Clonable. This is the way how you do. Suppose what is clone? Clone means you want to copy. You want to create the copy of your object. Okay, so what is the step? First you have to implement clonable. Okay, and you can override one of the method called clone here. clone is the method which you can override. Now whenever you need this particular animal copy, what you can do, you can go here and you can do like this, animal dot clone. Okay, so clone should come. I don't know what is the problem. Clone is public, here it will go. Okay. Okay, so I made this method as public, means I can use it here. So animal dot, are able to see, you will use this clone as your method, and you can create one animal. This is clone animal. You give the object name called clone animal. Okay, and you can just cast it. Okay, like this. Okay, so this is one of the way to create an object. What is the method name? Clone is your method name. Okay, yeah. Now what is the fourth way to create an object? Get instance. Get instance. What is the method name? Get instance. So this one we will see in depth when we will do this singleton design pattern. Okay, so hold on for some time. This one we will study in singleton design pattern. So when we do this singleton design pattern, that time we will be able to understand what is this all about. Okay, so this is one of the way to create an object in Java. Okay, so this is also very typical question, so be very careful, people will ask this. Okay, so let's move to this other topic. Okay, so which one we will start? Which one will start? Any idea? Exception handling or collection. Which one you feel good? Which one? Both are not good. Huh? Which one we should study? Exception. I think last time when you joined, this one was going. Okay, so exception. Okay, so what is an exception? Any idea? What is an exception? Abnormal condition which will disrupt the normal flow of execution. Okay, so we were having one example, if you remember. So there were two person who are writing the code. Okay, so first person was writing for 5 lines, second person was so let's try to do this. Okay, suppose public class. Okay, so I'm having one main class. So what is the class name? Class name is your main class. Okay, and you're writing some public static void main string args string args. Okay, and try to understand. You have written the code. I mean you have written the code from 11 to maybe 15 number line or 14 number line. Okay, by mistake, if suppose in this line some exceptions are thrown. Suppose some exceptions are thrown in this line. Then tell me, will this line number 14 be executed or 13 number will be executed? No. Got it, right? Maybe in this line you are having some important code which must be executed always. It is very important code. Then will be executed. It will not execute. Got it, right? So that's why what we say, what is an exception? Exception is an abnormal condition, okay, which will disrupt the normal flow of execution. Okay, what is normal flow? It should execute 11, 12, 13, 14, all the lines should be executed. This is your normal flow. But because of this exception, what will happen? Just below that line will not execute. As simple as that. Okay, so if no exceptions are there, tell me SOP. Okay, if I'll have test. Okay, and I'll have here try. If exceptions are not there, if exceptions, what should be the output? Tell me. Test try. But by mistake, if some exceptions are arisen from this particular line number called 14, then what will happen? What should be the output? Test, no trial. Trial will not come. Got it, right? So that's why what we say what is an exception? Exception is nothing but an abnormal condition, okay, which will disrupt the normal flow of execution. So the abnormal condition which will disrupt the normal flow of execution. Okay, so abnormal condition which will disrupt the normal flow of execution is called exception. Okay, yeah. Now let's try to understand how to handle the exception. How to handle exception. So if exceptions are there, you have to handle it, right? If you will not handle it, you will get the disruption all the time. So we must handle it. Okay, so how to handle the exception? Tell me how to handle the exception. We use try catch block. Okay, try catch block. So typically this is the syntax: try catch. Okay, and here this is the typical syntax which right here we write the exception. Here some sort of. This is the syntax of your try catch. Okay, so this is the syntax of a try catch block. So now tell me, if I'll write my code like this, I'll go here and I'll write my code like this. If I write my code like this and some exceptions are thrown from this line, are you able to understand? So if some exceptions are thrown, you are having some sort of code which is doubtable. I mean, you are doubting that some problem will be there. Then what you do? You should do try catch block. Now what should be the output? Tell me. Test try. Even if exception got thrown, but because the line number 31 it has caught your exception, though what will happen now? Output should be test and trial. Got it, right? So that's why it is best practice, whenever you are suspecting that the code might throw some sort of exception, what you should do, you should always do try catch. Got it, right? So let's try to do the same thing here also, the one which we are discussing here. Okay. So what to do here, as we are talking about test trial, okay, and you are suspecting that the line, this line can throw some exception, then what to do? You do try catch like this, and try catch block, you put it, try catch block you can put, okay, and what you do, let's try to throw some exception, then we'll use it. Okay, so first you can have any sort of exception. Okay, so maybe different type of exception. One of the exception is called null pointer exception. So what is null pointer exception? First tell me, what is null pointer exception? What is null pointer exception? If you try to do something in nothing is called null pointer exception. You cannot do operation on null. Whenever you try to do the operation on null, this is called null pointer exception. Okay, so tell me what should be the output if I will do string equal to null. Null means nothing. Okay, and what you do, you are trying to write something like this. Okay, so you are using one of the method called string dot char at. What is char at? It will return with the character at particular position. So I want to get the position at 3. Then what should be the output? Tell me. Test will come. Yes, because you did not get exception till now, right? Now what will happen? Null. You have done it. Now what about null dot char at? Can you do any operation on null? What is the current value of string? Null. You cannot do any operation on null. Okay, so let's try to see what is the exception we are getting. What sort of exception we are getting? Check it. Null pointer exception. Okay, so because of one small exception, what is happening? The below code. What is the below code? Trial is not executing. Trial is not coming, right? So that's why we told. I mean, it will disrupt the normal flow of execution. Okay, so what is null pointer exception? It will be thrown whenever we try to do some operation on null. Whenever we try to do some operation on null is called null pointer exception. Whenever you try to do any sort of operation on null is called null pointer exception. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Now this is a null pointer exception. Not only what should be the output. What should the output? L. L, right? Test, then L, then what is the last one? Try. So what I am to say is why I have given this example, because be very careful that this null is not equal to this null. Getting the point? Okay. So this null, what does that mean? This null means nothing. And what is this null mean? This null means null as a string. Got it, right? So null is a string. Okay. So this null will give you the char at 3 will be L, but this null will give you null pointer exception. Let's run this code. What is the output we are getting? See, test L try. Okay. This is one of the exception. What is the exception called? Null pointer exception. Okay. Yeah. Now, if you want to handle it, what to do? This practice what to do? You can have try catch block. Try catch block. Okay. We will write this code inside. Now tell me what should be the output. What should be the output? I will write here some exception. Tell me what should be the output? Test some exception and try. Because this line will throw some exception, right? So automatically it will come here, it will catch it and it will give you trial also. See, test some exception, try. Okay. Similar to this, let's try to discuss about some of the other exceptions. What are the other exceptions? Okay. Other exceptions might be your okay. Yeah, that also is okay, but first divide by 0. Okay, so something like if I write one code called 12 by 0, what should be the output? Tell me. First 12 by 2, what is the output? 6 will be the output. Okay, but if I'll do 12 divided by 0, what is the output? What is the output? So try to understand, you cannot divide a number by 0. This is an exception case, right? So that's why what it will throw arithmetic exception. So let's try to do this operation here. I will try to do this 12 divided by 0. So what should be the output? Tell me. Let's try to see the output again. Some exceptions. Okay. So what is the exception? So if you want to see the exception, what you can do, you can just comment this code. Okay, comment this out. Let's see what is the output. Arithmetic exception. Okay. So when arithmetic exception will be thrown, tell me. Whenever we try to do some invalid arithmetic operation. Whenever we will try to do some sort of invalid arithmetic operation. What is the one it will throw? It will throw arithmetic exception. What is invalid? Invalid will be the one which you discussed. Okay, 12 by 0, 100 by 0. So you are trying to do some sort of division which is not possible. Okay, you are trying to do some calculation which is not possible. If I will do 0 by 12, what should the output? If I will do 0 by 12, 0 by 12 0. What is the problem? 0 by 12 means 0, right? So you are dividing 0 into 12 parts, no problem. So 0 should be there. 12 by 0 is not possible. Why? Because the number which is there you want to divide into 0 part, which is not possible. Okay. Okay. So this is your second exception. What is the exception? Arithmetic exception. Yeah. Now try to understand how to convert. Tell me, what is the data type you will use? 1, 2, 3. Integer. Okay. What is the data type? String is the data type. Okay. Now you want to convert this string into integer into string. How to do that? How to convert string into integer? Or how first we will see this string into integer, then we will come the reverse way. So how to convert string into integer? Any idea how to convert? Tell me. We use parse int. Okay, parse is the one. Okay, so if you remember, okay, so what I have told you, if you remember, int I equal to, we write integer dot parse int. Okay, and you pass that whatever value you want to do. So this is the way how you will convert string into integer. Parse int. Or else one other way is there. What is the method name? Tell me. Value of, if you remember. Both are fine. Any one you can use. Okay. Yeah. Now tell me what should be the output? What should be the output? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It will convert here. Okay. But suppose if I will tell you, tell me, can you convert this particular thing into integer? Can you convert it? You can't convert it. Why? Because the string which you are passing, it is not a valid number or valid integer. Got it, right? So in this case, what is the exception it will throw? Tell me. What is the exception it will throw? Number format exception. Because the number which you are passing is not formatted, well formatted. What is the exception? Number format exception. So let's try to see. We'll try to write the code here. Okay, so this one is okay. Now we want to see the other one. So what I'll do, int I equal to integer dot, you can do anything, parse or maybe okay. So 1, 2, 3. System dot I. What should the output tell me? Test, then 1, 2, 3, then try. Okay, so we'll see test 1, 2, 3, try. Now what I'll do, I'll try to make. Tell me what should the output now? Test, then number format exception, because the number which you are passing cannot be converted into integer. Okay, so this one. So you are able to see what is the exception? Number format exception. So you understood when number format exception will be thrown? Whenever the number which you are passing is not a number, as simple as that. Okay, so it will tell you that value also. For input string 1, 2, 3, S3 is not a number. Okay, now this is about integer. If you want to convert into float, so typically what will happen? See here, integer, this is your method. So parse int. Okay, if you are having float, then what to do? Float dot parse float. If you are having double, then double dot parse double. These are the methods actually. Okay, these are the methods which should be used. Okay, so this is your data type. So after parse, you will have all the data type to which you want to convert the string to. What? String to float, yeah, correct. Where you want to make this one 90.80. Okay, even if you not mention f, it will automatically check it. No problem. I got your point. So you mean to say this one should be f should be there or not, f will be there or not. Okay, so it will do. Okay, so this is the way how your this one number format exception will be thrown. And who is the superclass of number format exception? Illegal argument exception. Okay, so who is the superclass of? So now if you see illegal argument exception is superclass of number format exception. Who is the superclass of number format exception? Illegal argument exception. Okay, so typically your hierarchy looks like this. Who is on the top? Object will always be on the top. Okay, then below that throwable, all arrow will be there. Okay, upwards arrow. Then what will be that? Tell me. Error and exception. Okay, there are you can divide exception to two types. One is called checked exceptions. Compile in we'll check it that also. Unchecked. Okay, and other way what you can do, you can divide into compile time and runtime exception. Compile time exception and runtime exception. Okay, yeah. Now what is compile time exception? Tell me the exception which you have seen now. What are those? Runtime or compile time? Those are runtime. When you are running it, then only you are able to understand. When the compilation is success, there is no problem, right? So whenever you are running the code, then only you are facing the problem. Then those are called runtime exceptions. Compile time exception means you are not able to compile your code. Means you will get some red color things over there. Whenever you will try to write code in your Eclipse. Okay. Compile time exception we will see in the next chapter. Okay, we will concentrate more on runtime exception in this particular chapter. Okay. What happened? Okay. So runtime exceptions, the one which you have seen now, example something like null pointer exception, okay. Then arithmetic exception, yeah, arithmetic exception, okay. The one which you have seen, numbered format exception, okay. Srikanth is mentioning array index out of bound exception. Okay, when it will come, let's try to see. We will try to have some sort of array. How to create an array we have already seen. So tell me how to create an array. Int array equal to new int. You can pass the number of elements, or else you can initialize here also. It is okay, no problem. Okay, something like 90 to 32 like this will do. Now tell me, if I'll do array 0, what should be the output? 90 is the output, okay. But if I'll give you 10, what should be the output? And this is the one which will come. So what is the one? So this, because of this one it is not coming, right? So we'll comment the previous one. Yeah, so now tell me what is the output? Array index out of bound. This is the one. This is the exception. So discussion. So when you try to access the array data which is not available, then what is the exception it will throw? It should throw array index out of bound exception. Okay. Now what is the example of compile time exception? File not found exception. We will see it while going through. Don't worry about for time being. Okay. In the second chapter. Then input output exception. Input output exception is one of the example of your compile time exception. Okay. Then you can have SQL exception. We will see more and more example while going through, but for time being you just remember those 3 examples. Okay, so we will see others also. Okay, so yeah, next remaining thing of exception we will see in the next tutorial. Okay.